everyone, it's CL, and this year I decided that whatever idea pops in my head, I'm gonna do it. I'm just not gonna think about it, I'm just gonna do it. So one of the ideas I had for a video was to review book reviews and kind of talk about them and provide my input and commentary as well. So for this video, I think I'm gonna start off with books that I liked, and then I'm gonna read the reviews and see how that turns out, if I agree with them, if I disagree with them, if they brought up good points. But let's go ahead and try it out for this video, and if I like it, we'll continue on with this process. All right, so let me go ahead and change the camera angle, and let's go ahead and talk about these reviews. All right, folks, so I filtered my Goodreads by my 5-star reads. Now, one of the things that I do get butthurt about because I don't understand is when I really love a book and someone really hates it. I'm like, what? Did we read the same book? How can you not like the same characters I like? No, I totally know that that's like a thing on Booktube that people say, it's okay, people are allowed to have varying opinions, and that is absolutely true. But sometimes when I have a favorite book and then I read a review that's totally the opposite end of the spectrum, it makes me think. I'm like, what did you read? What did I read? Are you sure you picked up the same book I picked up? It's one of those things. Okay, let's start with Dark Matter. I gave this book 5 stars, and I remember reading it so quickly because I loved it so much, and it was fast-paced, and I liked the whole alternate timeline thing, and it was really good. I really liked it. Now, I don't get upset when people just leave like a star rating and don't leave a review, because I do that as well. Sometimes I will review a book through the star rating because I just don't have anything to say about it, or maybe what I have to say is too wordy, or I can't put it into words. It's just, you know, I'm not no professional book reviewer, so sometimes I just don't have the words. And sometimes if it's a really bad book that I don't like, I just want to rid myself of it. All right, so this person also gave it 5 stars. I like what they wrote in the middle here. I can see why others have said it is tough to review without spoiling. Everyone should read this before it gets spoiled for you. Now, I'm like that with books as well. Like, if there is a book that a lot of people are reading, or a lot of people are saying that they really enjoy, I will try to read it right away so it is not spoiled for me. And then if it's a book that I really like the synopsis, like, I won't read too many reviews. I won't read into it too much, you know, because I think part of what makes the book really great as far as story is the surprise elements. And when it is spoiled for you, whether intentionally or not intentionally, it takes away, you know. Okay, I really like these gifts that these people put. What did I just read? And then this person is like, oh, my mind is blown. That's how I felt after I read it too. Like, I really liked it. I was like, had a high afterwards. Like, I needed to read another something that was really good. And I think also what I really liked about the book was that it was so different from what I was reading. And I think that's what I liked about it. Like, it took me in a totally different direction than what I had been reading at the time. Alright, so this person rates it at 3 stars. I'm late to the party on this one, and judging by all the 4 and 5-star reviews, I can only assume that the mob will be after me with pitchforks and torches for 3-starring it. I totally understand that when you have a bunch of people really praising a book, when you do give a lesser rating, a 1-star, 2-star, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, there is that voice in the back of your mind, like, are people gonna come at me? If so, I need to get ready and defend myself. So this person in their review, I like how people will give like a reference to a similar book. I like when people mention like, oh, there's a similar book called this. In this case, it's Influx. And he says it's slightly better, the fold slightly worse. Like, I like when people can give you recommendations of something along the lines of a book you liked. So Influx, I have to look that up later. This person rated it 5 stars and says, I think I never read a book that played with my mind so much as this one did. Now, this one, did it play with my mind? I don't think it played with my mind, but it definitely made my heart beat really fast. Like, I was just like, what is this, the next door gonna bring, you know? What's gonna happen next? Like, this guy, it was one of those scenarios. I'm like, is he ever gonna win? Because it seems like every scenario is a losing scenario. This reviewer references Interstellar in comparison with the book Dark Matter. I don't even think they're on the same field. Like, they're totally two different things, like two different storylines, two different plots, two different things that are happening. I don't agree with that comparison, that if you like Interstellar, that you'll like this. Not really, unless you want to take, like, if you like sci-fi, if you like science, then you'll like this, maybe, if you reach a little bit. You know, one of the books that I really like, that I noticed a lot of people on Booktube didn't really like, was Rooted. I really love that book, and a lot of people, it was really hit or miss with people. Like, you either really liked it or you didn't. I liked it. Okay, The Timekeeper. Now, this is one, when I read it, I really liked it. I liked the whole philosophical aspect of it. I liked that it made you think. I just really liked it. Like, I felt like I came away with more than what the story was. Like, it left a long-lasting impression on me to where I wanted to reflect on, like, life, on the things that are important in life and that sort of thing, you know? Alright, so this reviewer says it's the worst book they ever read. The Timekeeper is supposed to be a story about lovelorn teenage girl and an old man who wants to cryogenically freeze himself. No, I didn't take that away from this book at all. I did not think of it as a love story. I thought it was more of a life lesson, like you're supposed to learn a life lesson. So this 1-star reviewer says, expecting a great storyline with a depth of meaning and philosophy, I found myself becoming increasingly agitated and depressed. Now, do I think that this book can leave you depressed? I think absolutely, but I think it's one of those things, like if you see yourself and you see the flaws that they kind of list out in the book, like if you see yourself as someone who takes time for granted, it can be depressing. Like, it's teaching you a lesson. It's teaching you to value something that you take for granted. And in that sense, yeah, it could leave you depressed. It definitely left me feeling like I've wasted a lot of time, you know? Alright, so this 5-star reviewer, I like how people leave little quotes because it reminds me of how I felt while reading the book. Alright, this book says, it is never too late or too soon. It is when it's supposed to be. This 1-star reviewer says, the ending was beautiful, but that's it. Now, I don't know if they mean like the ending was beautiful because it was finally over. It was so painful that it's finally over, or if they mean that it was genuinely beautiful. Now, it's been a while since I read this book and I can't honestly remember how it ended. That doesn't mean that I didn't like it or I wasn't paying attention. Just I can't remember it, you know? It wasn't, that's not the main thing that I took away from it. The ending is not the main thing I took away from it. It was that overall question. This 1-star reviewer says, this book turned out to be very different from what I expected and not in a good way. Now, I have to agree with that. Like, going into the book is not what I expected either, but for me, it still was really good. Now, as I'm going through my Goodreads pages, I notice a lot of my 5-star reviews are manga, and I can't help it. Manga just happens to be really good. If you don't read manga, absolutely get into it. I love it. I love it so much. Alright, so the last book that I'm going to look at is Flamecaster. This is one I read very, very recently, and I just absolutely loved it. I finished it in one whole day. It was an audiobook, and I loved it. I'm already on hold with the next volume, and I'm supposedly second in line, and yet this person is not finishing it anytime soon, and I'm getting angry. I'm getting angry because I want to listen to this next audiobook sequel as soon as possible. Oh, this person's review is way too long. Like, sometimes I complain that reviews are too short, like one word, it was good. But sometimes really long reviews are too freaking long. Like, sometimes I can't. Alright, so this person rates it at 3 stars. Inconsistency and insta-love. Sigh. Now, generally, I really despise insta-love, but when it came to this book, I was okay with it because I think for what this book has to offer, because it has so many other elements like magic and some other thing that I'm not going to say because I don't want to spoil it, because the book has so much more going for it than the love aspect. I was kind of glad that it was insta-love because I kind of wasn't in the mood to be dragged through two characters being angsty around each other. Like, I'm just not wanting to go through that. I'm not here for that. So I'm kind of glad they kind of got that step over with and focused more on everything else in the world that they had to offer in this book. So for this book, I'm kind of I approve with the insta-love just because the book has so much more to offer. All right, so this person rates it 1 star. I was a fan of the series this is a sequel to. I can say in no uncertain terms that this book, beyond being extremely lazy writing, completely ruins all the world building of the previous books. Now, I can see where people are coming from. Now, I'm kind of glad that I didn't read the previous series, that I'm starting it fresh, that I'm jumping into this world fresh, because if you did read a previous series within the same world, you're going to be making a lot of comparisons, you know? But maybe after I finish this series, maybe I'll go back and read that previous series, what everybody else is talking about. But in a sense, I'm kind of glad I'm starting new. And maybe that's where the disparity is, because people are comparing it to a series that they've already fallen in love with. So now this sequel series, can you call it that? Now it's kind of a hard sell. This person gave it 3 stars and said, I think this is one of the audio makes it worse books. The audiobook narrator just wasn't very strong. Now, I didn't personally mind the audiobook narrator. I thought they did a really good job. There has definitely been some audiobook narrators where I just wanted to smash my phone, but I didn't mind this audiobook narrator. I thought they did a really good job. Alright, so how was that video? I hope you found it enjoyable. I personally liked it. I think it's fun, makes me laugh, makes me think. I most likely will do it again. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you later.